long have you had your diagnosis?
I think it's like 37 years now, I think.
Okay.
36,
So
something like that.
your disease, are you the same as somebody else who's been diagnosed for 2 years?
No,
And why not?
because because mine is way more progressed. Like it's pretty severe. Like
And
there's been a lot of damage, a lot of years of damage.
a lot of years of damage. Have you had surgeries or anything?
One knee replacement. I'm supposed to have my other knee done, but that's another thing. When you're young, they don't want to do surgeries because they want to prolong it as long as they can. But now, when you do get a replacement, they're going to last longer now. But
Mm.
back then, they weren't going to last as long. But my doctor still wants to, being I'm still pretty young, he still wants me to wait as long as we can. So,
That's a really, I didn't even think about that. That's a really good point too, that what the technologies were or the science and the capabilities were for a hip replacement or a knee replacement or whatever 10, 20 years ago, that's very different now. You go in
yep.
and it's not as in as invasive, but that we have to think about that because that alone shows why your disease is different than even somebody 10 years in. And do you have comorbidities?
Okay, so yeah, so like I've got well, so they thought actually that I had a blood clot disorder because I developed a blood clot 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago now. And and then they even sent my blood off to the national place to see if I had a blood clot disorder. And thank God that came back negative. Because I'm like, I don't need to add any more to my list. So then they just decided, being they couldn't really find what was the cause of it, that my doctor is just going to say that my birth control caused it because birth control can
Oh,
cause that. So I'm like, oh, that sucks. But I have spondyloarthritis. I have psoriatic. I can never say that word. Psoriasis, uveitis. What other things have I?
well, that alone,
All kinds of stuff.
right there, those three things, your treatment plan is going to need to vary from
Yep.
somebody who's had the same diagnosis 2 years in, 3 years in, 10 years in, what have you. And one of the things that value assessments do not consider are all of the other, what I like to say, what shout out to Carrie, the autoimmune soup that happens. And that happens actually because our disease, the inflammation is at least somewhat uncontrolled. And even if it's a little bit uncontrolled, it starts to build up in our bodies and it moves around. And that's why all of a sudden now it's concentrated in your spine or it's concentrated in your skin. It's concentrated. And that's why these other diagnoses happen because you didn't get on the right treatment or it wasn't just fully working for your unique self. So that is an excellent example of, I think, from a perspective of a person living with a disease for a long time, that we have to consider subgroups and value assessments.